Hello everybody, it's Dr. Zaino with 15-Minute Fuel. We're just in 15 minutes a day. We're going to fuel your mind, your body, and your future. When we're waiting for people to get on, let me just go over a couple things. Make sure you're on SoundCloud and Stitcher. We have our podcast on there, which is the 15-Minute Fuels on there, so you could drive with them and you could watch the road and pay attention to the 15-Minute Fuels. It's a great way to catch up when you're working out. Also, tomorrow, episode 20 is coming out. Already, episode 20. It's going to be a great. I just watched it. If you haven't seen episode 19, you'll see the link pop up. Check it out and make sure you're commenting and sharing. No one gets it. We cannot spread this movement without the share button. So make sure you hit the share button. Also, all of our 15-Minute Fuels and We Are Heroes are stationed on Facebook. Of course, you got to scroll through it, but you could go right to my YouTube channel. Go to Chris Zaino. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell, the follow, so you have all the notifications there for you. And again, thank you so much. I really feel we're picking up a lot of traction. I'm getting a lot of private messages. If you want any questions, feel free, private message me. So if you're not watching this live or hearing it live, you can private message me on any of the social medias. Private message me on Facebook or on Instagram, DM me, and I'll answer any questions. And those when you comment, I always answer. Right? That's what I do for you guys. All right, so today is going to be a great 15-minute fuel. And really, these 15-minute fuels have been coming to me, hours before, or maybe the morning of, or just kind of something that's going on in my life. And I want to make sure that I want to keep this thing as real as possible for the ups and downs that I go through. So I've been really stressed over the last couple days and weeks. Not about the We Are Heroes thing. That's literally keeping me floating. Not about my office. I just felt I felt some torment going on. It wasn't living a secret identity. What I realized, and this goes back, my mom's on, and she was there when we used to ask Stan. So my mom's last husband, Stan, he died in his late 80s, right? Probably, Mom, I don't know if it was like 88, but he was old, all right? He lived a very filled life, spoke all over the world, evangelized his testimony. What a wonderful story, Stan Telchin. And one of the things I asked Stan, because anytime you get around someone who's my mom's age, or someone who's older, who lived a full life. I mean, my mom lived, she lived through the radio and the TV and just so much stuff, black and white, When you meet someone who's sharp in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, you always want to ask them questions because they got great wisdom. And so one of the things, hey Dan Sullivan, one of the things when I asked Stan, I go, what's some wisdom you could share? What's some of the toughest things that you ever had in your life? And you know what he said? He goes, one of the toughest things in all my life, you're going to want to write this down or stop the car. He goes, one of the toughest things that I learned in this life was the ability to make a decision. One of the toughest things you could do in life is to make a decision. Because what happens is, when I was feeling stressed out the last couple days, you know what it was? I had to make a decision on some things. And when you make a decision, that stress and torment goes away. But the reason what happens is we're afraid of the unknown, right? Well, if I choose this, what's going to happen? If I choose this, what's going to happen? So we stay in between, and what happens? We don't do anything. We're like a little monkey, right? You just go around. So you could choose this lane, you could choose this road or this road. And you sit there and you stare at both of them and you waste your life. And now this is very frustrating. You don't know what to do. And I'll use examples in a moment, but you just don't know what to do. So what happens? Hours, days, weeks, or sometimes people's lives go by because they can't make a decision because they're doing the pros, the cons, and they just don't do anything. It leads to procrastination. It leads to stress and torment when it didn't have to be. Versus making a decision, this one's done, and you go on your way and then course correct or learn. Because we're so afraid of that unknown. So my decision was about something like an internet thing was going on, and just building a certain site. I know but it was enough to stress the heck out of me because this company, they worked off a retainer. So what they would do is this, and just be careful on retainers when you get work done. Their retainer's like, well, you pay $5,000 and then you get a retainer for 25 hours and we'll work on it. And then guess what happens? They run out of time and then you got to buy another retainer and another retainer. So it became like a money pit. But then what happens, I got to the point where I'm so far into this deal they're like, oh, you're just right there, but we're going to need another 5. So it's like you get so far in and you're stressed out, you know you're kind of getting taken advantage of because it's based on time. And then you're so far in, you're like, well, if I stop now, I lose everything. But they say I'm right there, I might as well just keep on. It feels like you're in the middle of the roller coaster. So sure enough, we go another retainer, and they ran out of time. Another 5,000. It's just like you're 30 grand into this, and now I'm like, I can't invalidate myself. So I was so stressed out, so stressed out. I talked to my good friend, Dr. Tabor, that you see on the show. I'm like, Tabor, this is a horrible feeling I'm feeling, and I need to clear this out. So we agreed to take responsibility on our own and make things happen. But you see, I was tormented because I just had to make a decision. Once I made that decision this morning, all that torment and stress left. I don't feel like I'm taking advantage anymore. You know, because Dr. Tabor and it's just understand this. So he says, hey, listen, let's get our heads together. He says, listen, I know how to do some of this stuff. We could rock this out. We'll do it. And it really gave me a lot of comfort and let that stress go away. So that was the particular situation, by the way. So thank you, Dr. Tabor, for doing that. But let's think of how and there's multiple times in your life. So a lot of times you're in a relationship, you know, and you know it's not the right person for you. Let's say you're dating someone. You know it's not the right person, but it's comfortable. Or you've been with them 10 years. But you really know it's, you know, your guys are parting, but instead of dealing with it and confronting it for something that's better for your life, not maybe a better person or a better opportunity in life, we stay there and we're stressed out because we know we need to make a decision. At work, let's say you're at your job right now and you're feeling that secret identity pulling at you, and you know you're great. You know, you're greater than that. You want to do some big things, and you're on the line. You're working, but you want to do your love. You know, what you love to do, and you're going back and forth. I'm working, but I want to do this. And then there's all this stress and torment. All you have to do is make a decision. Once you make the decision, watch, one goes away. So now you're stuck with the one, not stuck, but you chose the one. You made a choice, and now you don't have the stress anymore. You made the decision. You closed the other door. And like we say, you move forward, you embrace the unknowns, because the unknowns are where what? The unknown is where the opportunity is, that's where the greatness is, that's where the gold is, that's where the genius is, and that's where God is. All in the unknowns. Look back in your life right now. Look back and connect the dots of all the things that happen in your life that you're like, no way could I ever plan it. See, so the plan we have to succeed is never the plan that reaches success. It's just a starting point. We have to like devise a plan just to make the first step, just to make the decision and go. And then the unknowns take us from there. So a lot of times, don't let the fear of a decision get in your way, because a lot of times the decision, not making that decision, will keep you procrastinating. You're just running in circles, full of pain. But when you make the decision, it's like freedom. It really is freedom. So when you make a decision or choice, it's freedom. You go along your way, and then you course correct. Right? So if I made this decision, and when, you know, for instance, for this internet thing, Dr. Tabor and I, you know, if we hit a little wall, we learn. And that brings me to my second point, which I'll probably talk about tomorrow. When it comes to your goals and your dreams, according to your vision, right? Your dreams, your goals, your vision, don't put the success of your dreams and vision in the hands of somebody else. I'll say that again. Don't put the success of your dreams and visions in the hands of somebody else or another company. Because what happens is you can't say, well, I didn't reach my goal because they didn't do their job. You got to take 100% responsibility for doing what needs to be done. And that means making a decision. So Stan was right, wasn't he? At 88, or 80 years of sharp age, he realized that in all his life, he saw one of the toughest things in life was to make a decision. Because without that decision, you live in fear, you live in scarcity, you live in torment, and you procrastinate your entire life. But once the decision is made, then you're able to move in a direction and learn from that, and that gets your life moving forward. So I hope you appreciate the 15-minute fuel today. Let me just see who's on, so say hello. All right, so let's see, we got a lot of good stuff right here. I'm glad you guys are agreeing. All right, let's see, we have a lot of people join. Hey, Ashley, Dan Sullivan's there. Make sure you guys hit the share button. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up. There's Tabor. Yeah, Tabor. So just to let you know, Tabor Smith, like if you guys, like for some of you, you commented, someone said the other day, it's amazing how strong you are. But the thing is, I freak out just like everybody else. This morning I was so tormented, and I said, Tabor, so many things I was really there, and then just talking it through with a friend or making a decision change your life. And then it gives you something to share with everybody. Dean, good to see you. Dean says, I'll never forget that one. Never forget it. Chad Ellis, too often decisions are made by consensus. Very good. Chad said, too many times decisions are made from consensus. All right, everybody thinks so? Good, I'm in. Versus you. Because sometimes your decision may have to be, you know what, guys? I know you all vote this, but I'm going here because this is congruent to my life. Wonderful. Live your hero. All right, let's see. Ashley had the same thing on your website. Ashley, guess what? I believe it was the same people. All right, let me see. Tim Radcliffe, thank you guys. Pete, you bet. Good to see you guys. Hey, Dale, always good to see you guys. All right, hey, Marla. All right, so thank you so much, guys. So make sure you watch episode 19. 2, tomorrow, episode 20 is coming out. I just saw it was great. All right, so this one tomorrow, make sure you forward this. We'll always forward them. They're always great. Just watch it. You'll see who to forward it to. People like it. SoundCloud, Stitcher. We're also on iTunes now. That's right. So got a Dr. Zaino on iTunes. So you get the audio version. YouTube. Make sure you like us on Facebook and share this, because sharing is really how we get the message out. Thank you so much, guys, for coming and getting fuel with me today on 15-Minute Fuel. And let's remember the words of Stan Telchin. The toughest thing in his life at 88 years of age and traveling the world and speaking, and his books went to millions and millions of people. He saw when he counseled people was the ability to make a decision. Make a decision. There's something you need to make a decision on right now. I'm challenging you and imploring you to make that decision and free yourself up and go towards the dream God gave you. God bless. I'll see you guys soon.